Card 3 here at Beachwood Hotel in Johannesburg, South Africa. And my name is Mercy Becon from International Livestock Research Institute in Tanzania. Today in the afternoon, this moment we are privileged to have Martin Kropff, the Director General for CIMMYT. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Martin Kropff. I'm DG of CIMMYT, Director General, the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center.
Thank you so much, sir, for finding time to be with us this afternoon. We are live on Periscope, and we're going to share some examples of the works that you've been doing that will contribute to the SDGs. Please tell us from your recent work. Can you share, please, with us an example of that demonstrates a lasting impact?
Yeah, let me give two examples of what impact can be. One is the impact study that we just had on 20 years of wheat breeding in the world. The CGIAR, so CIMMYT and ILRI, have been breeding all the time in many locations with many people, and I knew that. But now since 8 months I'm DG of CIMMYT, and with a new study that shows that 60% of the varieties in the world are based on CIMMYT material, and very often just CIMMYT varieties. So the annual return financially, worldwide, globally, is estimated to be $2 to $5 billion. So this is an impact that I could never dream of, that an institution of the size of CIMMYT and ILRI could have. So this is, I think, also important that people realize that we really contribute to the world. First place to the developing world, but also the developed world is benefiting quite a bit, like Canada and Australia. The second one is on maize. We are now working on drought-tolerant maize. We have drought-tolerant maize varieties, and I'm this evening going to Zimbabwe. We have a board meeting because we have a big facility in Zimbabwe as CIMMYT. With the technologies that we have, predicting and so on, we can really make sure that effects like El Nino today, the droughts, are not having such an effect as they have right now on commercial crops. But I think the best story for maize so far is MLN, maize lethal necrosis. 4 years ago in Kenya, there was a major problem. New disease came in, the maize plants became completely white, they died completely. And so, because we have an international organization, we can bring germplasm from Mexico, our headquarters, to Africa, like this, with Window 1 money. And that's why Window 1 funding is so important, and our donors know what I'm talking about, which is sort of core funding. So we use that money to do these studies, to test our material. And right now there are almost resistant varieties in farmers' fields in 4 years. So these are the type of things that we can do as CGIAR centers.
Thank you so much. We've had the good work that CIMMYT is doing, and I'd like you, sir, to tell us what you think we can do to further demonstrate our impact that might help to increase investment in research for development.
No, I think we have to demonstrate the impact to show. For example, the wheat study. That's really helping, because then people see it's not just research or it's just a story. No, people are using it. People are using the materials and the seeds. So I think documenting also the impact of the work that we do as CGIAR is, I think, a very essential component. And then also working together with the development organizations, so that the development organizations like IFAD is here, the World Bank is here, that those organizations really make use of the technologies. An example is we have these drought-tolerant varieties, drought-tolerant maize, and USAID just funded a $4 million project in Ethiopia to make sure that farmers get the good seeds, so that for the next season they have seeds of drought-tolerant varieties that can survive drought situations. These are the type of things that we have to demonstrate and indicate.
Thank you so much. Now we look at how our work now is ensuring better rural futures. And in this, we would like to know, what do you think are the most critical factors that inhibit resilience to climate change and other future shocks? And how do we solve these?
Yeah, these future shocks or food shocks. There's just a recent study on this by Lloyd's in London, together with us. Um, more, more and more organizations, companies are getting worried about food system and food system shocks. Climate change is really coming through very strongly. And sometimes very slowly. People think, oh, well, how long will it take? But we see now already, for example, in Obregon, in the dry areas in Mexico, but also in northern India, where the water table goes down for 1 meter per year, that the temperature goes up. And with a temperature increase of 1 degree, you lose a ton per hectare of yield. So it's so sensitive, our crops are so sensitive to climate change that we have to work on this. But especially phenomena like El Nino, what we have right now here in Southern Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia and so on, and other parts of the world, Guatemala, the same story. We get more droughts, and we have right now the tools to, in the first place, predict the El Nino better. So we can, when El Nino comes up, we can predict and help farmers also to make the best selection, to select the right varieties with the right duration, and when it's necessary to take drought-tolerant varieties that can really survive in this system. But it's not only the varieties, it's also the way we grow the crops. For example, we do a lot of work at CIMMYT. People call it conservation agriculture, but I call it more innovation agriculture, which is basically when there's a drought situation, you have to save the water as much as possible. Now, by minimum tillage, with small machines, and smallholders can use these machines with service providers, basically you can make sure that you use the water in the most optimal way, so that only a little bit of water is being wasted. And in that sense, you can make the best use of the system. So it's the combination of prediction, selecting the right variety, and the right management of the system. And then you can make the system as resilient as possible. Now we keep on working on the new technologies, but the work that we have already, the materials we have already, can be used and can really be helpful to the poorest of the poor farmers.
Thank you so much for that. And now we were wondering how we can ensure environmental sustainability, as well as increase food production when pressure on environmental resources like land and water is growing. So how can we ensure that environmental sustainability?
Yeah, that's an important one. And basically, we call it sustainable intensification. Environmental sustainability and enhanced food production can go hand in hand with the best technologies we have. And at the high end, it is, for example, with drip irrigation systems. We have in India, for example, on our farms, we have subsurface drip irrigation systems. So you save 70% of the water in areas where water is so scarce. I just told you about water level go down with 1 meter per year. So that's where you save the environment. And you enhance the productivity of the crop as well. And there are many of such technologies that have been developed. For example, land laser leveling makes it possible to have much higher efficiency of your water use in irrigation, and at the same time raising yields. So, and I think as CGIAR, together with our partners, we do the research with advanced centers, we do the research with the NARS, and with development partners, but together with our partners we work on solutions where we save the environment and at the same time try to raise the yields of the crops. That's the focus, and it has to be the focus because our natural resources are being scarce, especially water.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time. We have been live on Periscope. Thank you so much.